Oh, yes, I do.
Lillian McDermott
Okay, here we go. Today we have Transformations Medical Weight Loss Clinic. We are talking about the documentary Eating You Alive, and we are going to learn and grow together. So fasten your seatbelt. For those of you who want to learn more about transformations, call 877-827-8669. Time to dance, Trey.
Let's dance.
But you're just pouring your stuff. You're doing. Look at the powder. I can see the powder. People are going to be wondering what you're doing.
Are we on?
We are not on. We are on YouTube right now.
Okay, have you been to the Orlando soccer games yet?
No, I haven't.
Went to one last night for the first time. It was
Oh,
fun.
here we go. Here we go.
This is the place you can always turn to when you need a friend. The Lillian McDermott Show.
Things we talk about
Reach
off
out
the
to
air.
Lillian, visit her on the web at whenyouneedafriend.com. Now let's all learn together. Here's Lillian McDermott.
Hello, my listening friend. It's so nice we can meet each other on the air on this beautiful, best day ever. And for those of you who are new to the Lillian McDermott radio show, the purpose of the show is to provide alternative ways to heal. It is my commitment to provide alternative ways to heal, like I said, and it is my mission to make awareness, responsibility, and truth a part of our everyday life. And I hope you, my listening friend, will feel empowered to embrace a new truth and live the life of your dreams. Now, for those of you who have been listening to the show for the last year and a half, you know that I have been totally committed to the documentary Eating You Alive. So I challenged Trey Stouffer, one of the sponsors of the Lillian McDermott radio show. I said, Trey, I would love for you and I to talk about this because we just did a great event in Jacksonville, and we also had a group of people join us in Brevard County to view the movie, discuss it, but I have not been able to talk to Trey about it. So I thought today Trey is back because they are committed. Transformations Medical Weight Loss Clinic is committed to serving all of the needs of the people that they serve. And so as we discuss this, Trey and I will, we have maybe similar or difference. We're going to focus on our similarities and what we loved about the movie and what we thought was different. They had over 560 theaters showed the documentary Eating You Alive. It was the largest of this kind ever. And so Trey and I are going to discuss it. We're also going to talk about how Transformations continues to help. For over 31 years, they have helped all the people that are wanting to embrace a new truth about their health. And since it is our sole purpose in life to give and receive love and knowledge, I am so grateful that Trey Stouffer is here to do just that. Welcome, Trey, to the Lillian McDermott radio show.
Good morning. How are you today?
I am doing well. Thank you so much, Trey. It's always nice to see you moving around while I'm doing my intro. You look like a mad scientist over there. What are you doing?
I'm mixing my cordyceps and lion's mane and my mushrooms. So
yeah,
I have to dose once a day, so this just helps me out. So it's Monday morning, so I'm sorry for distracting.
No. Actually, let's talk about this real quick because I know that you've been working on this cordyceps. Is this your product that's going to be coming out in the market?
No, not yet. It's a over-the-counter product. We're final stages with our probiotic that has an AZ165 strain that's really supposed to help with the Crohn's colitis world.
Mm-hmm.
And Dr. Shaffron's been very instrumental. Matter of fact, he's the driving force behind that logistics. I've been the instrumental force, not the driving force with that.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're moving that direction. But as a Crohn's victim, or I shouldn't say victim, as somebody with Crohn's, I do what I can nutritionally to stay ahead of it.
Well, that is what is important. One of the things that I've learned about you, Trey, and Transformations Medical Weight Loss Clinic is that it is about health. It's not so much about releasing the weight. It is about health. Releasing the weight is a byproduct. Share a little bit more about Transformations and what has kept you guys going for 31 years. I've seen so many businesses come and go, and you're here to stay. So share a little bit about your philosophy.
Our philosophy is don't overcharge, provide a good quality in a friendly manner. I mean, that's not really an elevator pitch. It's just the philosophy. But to answer how we've done it for 31 years, I don't have a clue. At the end of the day, if I were that smart, I don't know what I'd do. But it's dumb luck and taking honest care of people.
Oh, you're being so modest, Trey. You're being so modest. I don't think it's dumb luck. I really do believe that you have a formula, and your formula for success is to listen to what people need and why they are in the predicament they are. You work with doctors, you work with nurses, you work with the people that are your clients that are tired of being sick and tired, and you are a family. So if that's called dumb luck, then I guess that is it. If that's, so if that's what you describe as dumb luck, you guys have done a really good job. And that's the only reason we partnered together. So
it's so simple. It's simple, right?
Yeah. But you offer something else, and you're constantly working towards the supplemental side of it. And I know that with Dr. Shafron, you guys are working towards making this probiotic. But with the cordyceps mushrooms, I remember you were so excited about introducing that to me, and that is going to be one of your nutraceuticals coming up soon, right?
It is. It's a project we're working on. We just aren't to that point yet.
Yes. And so today we're going to talk about the documentary Eating You Alive with Trey Stouffer, the CEO of Transformations Medical Weight Loss Clinics, when we return worldwide at whenyouneedafriend.com. We'll be right here waiting for you. Okay, Trey. So full disclosure, we get to say how much of the movie you saw. It's about, let me tell you how long it is. The documentary, they actually had a new edition at the end of the documentary, which talked about Now What, which is something that we're starting in our area in Jacksonville, the Now What. And they gave 10 steps, which they were really good. I wish we would have had a handout or something to do that. I'm trying to find my little flashlight. Here we go. My flashlight, it is, where can I find how long the movie is, Trey? Do you know? Could it be inside?
Remind me the name of the movie.
Eating You Alive. It's about an hour and a half, maybe an hour and 3/4, almost 2 hours. That's for sure.
Full documentary.
Yeah.
Yeah, I watched 27 or 25. There was a YouTube clip for 25 minutes. So I saw that, and I watched about 3 other little excerpts from it.
I will tell you that there have been lots of pirating of this movie. And I don't know, it's sad because it is such a great documentary, and people believe that because it's so good that they have the right to pirate it and put it on YouTube. And it's really sad. They made me aware of this, that just because it's on YouTube doesn't give them the right to put it on YouTube. So we have to be very, very careful that the source comes from them. And because they were on with the Fathom Events release, they weren't able to give out or do the documentaries, what do you call it, DVD? And so the information, like you said, it's simple, but the reality is that it is very difficult when we talk about food. So I think that when we go into the segment, talk about our addiction to food. And this is something that the documentary Eating You Alive is something that they were able to tap into, is our addiction to food. And the foods that we're eating may not necessarily be the ones that are healthy for our body. So
undoubtedly.
Yeah.
That's why, even though I haven't seen it, I've seen it.
No, you haven't seen it. You haven't seen it. It really is. It taps into the reversal and prevention. Here we go.
5959. Once again, here's Lillian.
Welcome back to the Lillian McDermott Radio Show, where we always learn from one another. And today's teacher is the CEO of Transformations Medical Weight Loss Clinic, although he calls himself the chief cook?
Oh, HPIC, head peon in charge.
Head peon in charge. That's your other title that you hold. And so for 31 years, Transformations Medical Weight Loss Clinics has been helping people, their clients, transform. But you're more than just the client. You're a member of the family at Transformations Medical Weight Loss. And that's one of the reasons we partnered up with one another. You're not offering a quick fix, are you?
No, not at all. Well, it can be, but you've got to drive the car the right way. But what we are offering is education, and that's the key to any environment of success.
Yes.
Duplication and education.
That's right. And that's one of the reasons why I challenged you to watch the documentary, and the documentary Eating You Alive. Yes. Full disclosure, Trey.
I failed. But I did watch YouTube, and I saw about 25 minutes. And what I saw, as you know, I've been very familiar with the plant-based vegan world for quite some time. And a lot of it, although it was done very well, it still mimicked most of what's out there.
Of course.
The theories are there.
Oh, yeah. There's nothing new to what they're talking about. So you have read the book, China Study?
I absolutely have, yes.
Okay. Tell me about the China Study and what the China Study was about, and what you felt the similarities with that. Because you had talked about China Study earlier.
Yes. The China Study, and I'll summarize this quickly, is essentially the emperor got cancer, and he sent his researchers out in China.
Yeah.
He sent his
Ambassador.
researchers out to every province to see what caused cancer. And he found that in animal-rich regions like swine and cattle and chicken and poultry, and they had high volumes of cancer, different types, but high volumes of cancer. And in the more vegetarian, plant-based regions, they had very, very, very low cancer rates. And I believe, and I think a lot of people believe, that was kind of the incubator for a lot of these documentaries, researches, books, whomever you want to talk to. And just, it blows my mind that people don't look at this until they get sick.
Yes.
And that's one of the things, and of course I did the same thing. I got Crohn's, and then I started researching. And people get cancer and they start researching. But if we could, from a day-to-day standpoint, educate ourselves to change just a little bit, pull back a little bit, then we'll be better. The other misnomer that I find very intriguing is the proteins. People feel like we have to bombard our body with proteins for recovery and weightlifting and for this and for that. And, one of the new little tidbits that I picked up in this documentary is they brought a gorilla up. I mean, one of the strongest animals in the world is a vegetarian. And, I've always said buffalo and large beasts like that, but we are so similar to a gorilla, and guess what? They're vegan. Yeah. And so that was a good pickup for me, but nothing really new, but we just need to get people to start converting quicker versus reacting.
Well, I think that what the documentary Eating You Alive has done for the whole food plant-based community, and I'm not going to even say vegan, because there are a lot of unhealthy vegans out there that are eating potato chips and fake meats and fake cheeses and although I occasionally sprinkle those soy-based or plant-based cheeses, but there are others that are so loaded with fat that you might as well have the cheese. And so, but what the documentary Eating You Alive does better than any is that they take personal stories of weight loss, of crisis. People that have had heart conditions, strokes, diabetes, all of that. And they show them how in a very short period of time, in some cases within 2 to 3 weeks, diabetes was reversed, and heart conditions, 3 months, their cholesterol levels, everything is going down and it's looking perfect. Here's the thing that I want to tap into a little deeper, and I'm sure you see it a lot as well. But it was, I have a diagnosis, and the diagnosis could kill me soon. And that's what wakes somebody up. Wake up, wake up, wake up. Instead of, weight loss or we're looking at health, but instead of waiting until we get the diagnosis, which is a symptom of eating the wrong foods. What do you say, Trey?
90% of the time. That's extremely accurate. I mean, look, weight loss is a beautiful side effect of being healthy.
Yeah.
And we don't have a gym here, but we recommend exercise. So when people start eating better, they start feeling better. And the one thing that the thing that does make me nervous about some of these documentaries is every person with cancer thinks that, oh my God, if I start eating this, then it will save me. And that's not true either. What it does, it puts the right nutrients into the body to let the body heal itself. And depending on what level of commitment people do, then that's, that's a direct correlation to their success as well.
Well, Dr. Charles Majors was on the show, gosh, about back in 2015, 2016 for the first time. And his analogy of the body just made such an impression on me that I've used it over and over and over again. And what Dr. Charles Majors said was, if you were to have a dead tree, dead leaves, and would you paint it green in order for it to look healthy? Would you chop off the dead leaves and tape some green leaves on there? And so he said that if you look at the trees in hibernation, nothing changes other than the soil, the water, everything that it needs, and that the tree automatically changes if you start giving it water, if you start giving it fertilizer, or you fertilize it the way it needs to be fertilized, if you give it the proper amount of sunlight, the right oxygen, because we are in a polluted world. And so those trees naturally come back to life. What was different? What is different? During the wintertime, they don't get what they need. And then in the spring, coming into the spring, how much more will our bodies recover? How much more if we were to give the right foods? But what is the right food, Trey? Because there's so much confusion out there as to what is the right food. That's why I love Dr. Joel Fuhrman, because he takes everything and he breaks it down into a much doable portion management control. It's not about portions. It's about the nutrients that we put into our body. So, Trey, I can see the smoke coming out of your ears. You must be thinking.
No, look, I mean, simple rule of thumb is you want to get as close to the ground as you can, meaning the less processed foods that you can eat, the better off you are.
Yes.
You've got places that do green juice and smoothies and all sorts of different things, and you got to watch out because sometimes they put sugar in there, so you think you're eating healthy, but the truth of the matter is you're eating crap.
Yeah.
So again, it goes back to education. If you don't have a true understanding of what you're putting into your body, regardless of what you think it is, there's grocery stores all over the place that have crap in, and I'm not going to demonize yogurt, but some of these yogurts are so full of chemicals and sugar and all these processed things that aren't good, but yet they're touting it as, oh my God, this is the greatest thing since sliced cheese. Some are good, some aren't.
Yeah, and that's why the whole food plant-based diet or lifestyle has disassociated themselves with vegan, using the word vegan, because again, there are a lot of vegan meats out there. There's a lot of vegan cheeses, there are a lot of vegan foods, and they're doing the same thing for the vegan, what the standard American diet has done for us. They're adding a lot of chemicals. Just because it's vegan doesn't necessarily mean it's good. What the focus has been is the whole food plant-based. And I also want to address the cancer, people that get cancer think that just because they eat vegan, that all of a sudden they're going to get healed. One of the things we've learned from the teachers on the Lillian McDermott radio show is that it is a mind, body, spirit approach to healing. That all disease has an emotional component to it. And you just can't eat your way. Like, what is that thing, the thing you say, you can't outrun your fork? What is that what you say?
That's exactly what I say. And the reason being is no matter how you exercise, if you're eating improperly, you're never going to be able to burn that many calories through exercise. You'll break down your body. You'll do all sorts of other things. If you don't change your eating habits, you'll never obtain your goals, whatever your goals are. And it's the same way with cancer. You can't, if you've got to be committed to whatever you're going to do, and you've got to be comfortable with that commitment.
Well, just like you can't outrun your fork, you can't outrun your thoughts. You know, our thoughts are so important, the way we view things. Dealing with trauma as a child, or if you had childhood trauma, dealing with it as an adult is so important. There's so many different aspects. With the documentary Eating You Alive, though, they talk about the whole food, plant-based lifestyle, which if you are whole food, then you're dealing with a few ingredients that you can pronounce. But the moment that you start looking at ingredients, even though it might be vegan, or you're staying away from animal products, if you can't pronounce what's in it, if you can't pronounce what's on your skin or what's on your hair, whatever, chances are it may not be good for you.
Oh, that's absolutely. And the thing that I think I did miss through this is, what percentage of animal proteins do they recommend? Less than 5%, less than 10%?
Well, according to the Forks Over Knives people, none, zero. But with Dr. Joel Fuhrman, who was featured in this documentary, he says, right now people are eating, 30, 50, 60%. You're thinking higher?
Much higher, yeah.
Yeah, animal products. Because when you say animal proteins, that just keeps going with the myth that there is no proteins in vegetables. There are proteins, just enough, like you're talking about. Let's talk about that on our way back, because protein, because you probably have that formula. We're so obsessed with protein, but it's because we've been told to be obsessed with protein. How much of this is true? And this documentary does a really good job. And I'm so grateful that at least you watched 25 minutes of the movie, because it does make it gives you a better idea of what they're about. And we're going to continue our conversation with Transformations Medical Weight Loss Clinics. If you want to learn more about Transformation, it's 877-827-8669. Transformationsweightloss.com is where you can find them on the air. And we're going to continue our conversation. We'll be right here waiting for you. Okay, so proteins.
I don't know a formula, but I'm here to tell you that the American diet is so over embedded in the thought of protein. It's not even funny.
Yeah.
We can get so much of our nutrients from very quality plant-based products.
Yes, absolutely. Well, in the movie, in the documentary, there was they interviewed doctors that have experienced life-changing diagnosis. So
all the time.
These are
all
doctors.
The time.
Yeah. But they've experienced it on themselves. There was a young lady, I'm trying to remember her name. I think I wrote it down here. Let me see. Dr. Brooke Goldner. Dr. Brooke Goldner was diagnosed with lupus and given a short time to live because she went into massive failure in her body. And she was told she could never have children. She was told, and it wasn't until she met her husband, or a man that was helping her with nutrition. She was going through medical school. It wasn't until they changed their lifestyle that she is healthier than she's ever been. And not only that, she had children, and she focuses on a whole food plant-based diet. That's how she helps her patients today. Where'd you go, Trey?
Oh, I'm running some errands. Did I tell you, because I know we discussed some of my medical challenges, 2006. Did I tell you that the doctor, the intern came in and said that I was eating up with cancer in front of my family?
No.
She spoke out of turn, quite frankly, and she said, that they were detecting something on the scans, and she said, "Oh my God, you're eating up with cancer." And
who was this? The X-ray tech?
Oh, the intern, the pseudo doctor, and I looked at her and I said, "I appreciate what you're saying. You're wrong." I don't know why I was so definitive on that statement, but with further research, what had happened, I lost my spleen when I was 16 due to a car accident.
Oh, wow.
And it's manifested little pockets of a pseudo spleen that she thought was partial points of cancer. And it's just the spleen, and spleen is nothing more than a housing for the white blood cells and active devices of our body.
Uh-huh.
And they told me I'd be sick for the rest of my life. And quite frankly, I'm quite healthy. And when that woman told me that, it shocked my wife. It scared my daughter. And
she said this in front of your daughter?
Yeah. But I mean, that's not the point. The bigger point to this is, again, you give the body enough fuel, it'll heal itself and help itself. I mean, how many times have you heard of a heart attack where a widowmaker, the body intuitively made a vein that bypassed the widowmaker in order to save the individual? I mean, I hear about stories like that all the time. But again, you got to give the body enough nutrients and the proper nutrients.
Yes.
Instead of clogging it up with everything.
Yeah. So I do want to talk about this protein myth because, I think it's Thursday. We have a former butcher that is a vegan bodybuilder. He's a whole food plant-based. And so I'm looking forward to, I've met him before. I've met him at Veg Fest, and what a great story. I mean, just changing his nutrition. I mean, he had ADHD, bipolar. He was depressed, fighting all the time, drinking all the time. And so he was self-medicating. And once he stopped being a butcher, or actually he stopped eating the animals that he was butchering, and completely changed his life. Now he doesn't do this anymore. So let me
probably quit drinking too.
I don't know. Maybe.
Once again, here's Lillian.
Welcome back to the Lillian McDermott Radio Show, where you can hear us worldwide at whenyouneedafriend.com. I'm your host, Lillian McDermott, and it is my goal to did you see that? I don't know what happened. It's my goal to learn from one another. And today's teacher is the CEO of Transformations Medical Weight Loss Clinics, Trey Stouffer. We're having this conversation on and off the air of the importance of a whole food, plant-based lifestyle. Many of us think that that as we get older, we gain weight. But it's interesting that when you give the body what it needs, it will maintain the health that it requires to live a long life. And so today we're talking about the insights of the documentary, Eating You Alive. But this is kind of information that you get when you go to Transformations Medical Weight Loss Clinic. They start training you, what are the foods that you can have. There's so much more that you can have than you can't have. But we focus on, well, what do you eat? If you eat this way, what do you eat? Well, there's lots of great foods that you can have. Transformations Medical Weight Loss Clinic. There's a location near you. So if you live in Oviedo, Orlando, Lake Mary, Claremont, Kissimmee, Tampa, Melbourne, and Mount Dora, and I keep telling him it's time to go to Jacksonville, you can maybe call him and say, hey, we want you here, because it's not about gimmicks. It's about a lifestyle change. And I think you called it dumb luck, Trey, but it's not dumb luck. It's teaching people that it is a lifestyle change. And you're doing it, you're meeting people where they're at, because you're getting them from eating a bunch of foods that are inflaming the body, and you're getting them to that point where they're looking at the labels, they're looking at the calories, they're looking at the nutrients, and that byproduct of getting healthier is the weight loss. I think you're doing it right. I know you're doing it right. 877-827-8669. Trey Stouffer, it's always fun to get your perspective. So, and today is no different. I know that you only saw 25 minutes of the clips, but really, truly, it's the prevention and reversal. What they did really well in this documentary is they highlighted people that were given a very slim chance of ever coming back. You had mentioned that happened to you.
Mm-hmm.
But
well,
how important was
degree.
But how important was that belief that you were going to be okay?
Oh, well, that was a massive part of it. But, I believe that I didn't feel that I had the cancer because...
So I guess let's say this on the air. Trey was told in front of his wife and his daughter, how old was Scotland at the time?
8
years old, that you were eaten up by cancer.
Correct.
How horrible. First of all, that's horrible. Second of all, I'm sure that all the emotions, everything that you were thinking at that moment, but in what came out of your mouth was absolutely not. That's not true.
I said, I appreciate your opinion, but you're absolutely incorrect. And just for multiple reasons, but in my heart and soul, I didn't feel that to be the case. One, and understand, I'm not saying that eating a plant-based diet keeps you from that type of thing. But at that juncture, I'd already gone through multiple tests. I'd already done multiple things. Going through the medical challenges that I was going through, I was quite confident that she was incorrect.
Yes.
But,
if you would have been on the other side, Trey, if you would have believed her, it
could have manifested some negativity for sure.
Absolutely.
And my daughter and wife weren't as confident as I was. So of course it affected them. As we talked in the break, it ended up being a spleen that I had lost when I was 16. It manifested fragments within my body, and that it was something as simple as that. But this particular physician had never seen anything like that, and it seemed pretty uncommon. But that's how amazing the human body is to help itself correct itself.
Mm-hmm. Yes. And again, so this mind, body, spirit approach, if you would have believed her, we probably wouldn't be having this conversation today. The fact that you said, I'm going to give thy body what it needs. Mm-hmm. I don't agree with your diagnosis. In the documentary, Eating You Alive, they do a really good job about saying, I was only given a small amount of nutritional education, mm-hmm. just a very minute amount. And here we are, we're told to manage disease with medication. So what if, and they talk about, and I'll lend you the DVD so that you can see it, but they really talk about numbers, because doctors look at numbers, the cholesterol numbers, the high blood pressure numbers, the sugar numbers, but they do a really good job of changing people from their standard American diet to trying a whole food plant-based diet. And it's amazing how quickly the body recuperates.
Mm-hmm. Now, the fun part of that is how many of those people didn't have a problem that were willing to change?
Say that again. Say more.
How many of those people in the documentary did not have a physical or medical problem that were willing to change. And I'm going to say probably 95 to 99% of the people on that documentary, and any of them for that matter, had a problem, were scared senseless.
Thank
And
you.
then they changed their environment. You knew what was going through my head.
I know you were going through your edit package, so I said thank you for keeping it clean. So you're absolutely right. But then there are people that are awakening. People.
Yes.
So I'm one of 5 kids.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember watching my older brothers and sisters thinking, I don't need to go through what they're going through. I'm learning from what they're going through. So we are all teachers and we're all students. With
Mm-hmm.
me, I did have, I did experience some issues when I started changing my lifestyle. I actually witnessed a woman that was just absolutely beautiful, and she was vegan, but she was a sugarholic. And because I was a sugarholic, I thought, man, if I go vegan, I can really be skinny like her. And I was like 19, 20 at the time. By the age of 21, I made the switch. I was not going to eat any more pork or any beef. And that was my idea of being healthy. Mm-hmm. But not necessarily adding the fruits and vegetables, not adding. And so then it got to my next level, which is when we discovered that I had severe food allergies. I quit a lot of things cold turkey. And it was amazing how within 24 hours, the symptoms I had went away. There is no pill that does that. And the documentary Eating You Alive proves it over and over and over again. Heart disease reversal, heart disease prevention, diabetes prevention and reversal, cholesterol, all these things that will eventually tear our body down. So before we went on the break, Trey, we talked about protein. What do you tell your clients about protein and the importance of it?
Don't get wrapped up in the idea that you've got to eat a ton of protein. I mean, it's a misnomer. I mean, our body needs proteins, but there's plenty of proteins in the fruits and vegetables we have. We hear the workout people say, oh, you need protein for muscle recovery and this, that, and the other. And there's so much crap in the pre-boxed proteins, and there's so much chemicals and everything. Unfortunately, the meats that we eat have chemicals. And
yes.
You were talking about diabetes, and I know I've talked about this with you, and I know we're running a little on time, but the insulin resistance receptors are being disformed because of all the non-natural products that are coming in, and that causes their effectiveness to go down drastically, and therefore diabetes has grown immensely.
Yeah.
So, whether it's protein or carbs, be consistent, and you can eat a well-rounded environment, but know what you're eating. I mean, that's really what we preach and teach. The reason I think that we are around is we educate. There's no such thing as one pill fixes all, one shake fixes all,
or one meal.
Yeah. It's got to be consistency, and you've got to fuel your body in a matter. You've heard me say this: I never put sand in my car. Why would I put sand in my body?
Absolutely. And that's what you teach all your clients at Transformations Medical Weight Loss Clinic. For those of you who love your pills, there are other pills that you can take, that maybe some supplements that might enhance what you're doing. But here's the thing. Think about it. Pills keep us sick enough to need the next dose. Wouldn't you like to walk away from disease, embrace good health? And this is what we can choose. If medications are so good, why are we still sick? And we're going to continue our conversation with Trey Stouffer, CEO of Transformations Medical Weight Loss Clinic, when we return worldwide at whenyouneedafriend.com. We'll be right here waiting for you. That's the deal. We're so conditioned. We're told milk does the body good.
Mm-hmm.
It is the number one cause of childhood diabetes. It's the number one cause of osteoporosis.
Okay, fill me in on that. Now, look, the diabetes, I don't know about milk. I mean, I could attribute 20 other things before milk, but that's interesting. Why?
Why?
What's the what's the
Because
logic?
there is a protein in milk. Now, keep in mind that milk is intended from a cow
Mm-hmm,
to raise a little calf and
mm-hmm,
make it as big as you possibly can within a short period of time. A
mm-hmm,
mother's breast milk is not cow's milk.
mm-hmm,
It is not goat's milk.
mm-hmm.
The milk that a child gets supposed to be the milk from the mother. You can make milk and it depletes the bone. So this is in the documentary. I'm telling you, Trey, this information on milk, the information on beef, and the enzymes of the animal being slaughtered. I mean, if
Mm-hmm.
you are being chased with a knife, you're going to produce some massive enzymes that are, or hormones that are going to help
Yeah,
you run the heck out of there, right?
the flight and flee. Right, right. No, I'm familiar with that. I just hadn't heard of the youth with diabetes attached to milk. Um,
Absolutely.
I can
There's
absolutely research that.
yeah, please do. Actually, this documentary, Eating You Alive, and that's one of the reasons why I wanted you to watch it, because, you know, you're in the health industry. You're
Mm-hmm.
in the healthcare industry. You work with doctors, you work with people, you're getting them off their junk food, but there's still junk food that we can eat that we think is healthy. And the vegan industry is doing the same thing. They're adding extra sugars, they're adding extra chemicals, they're
Well,
adding extra
do you know why?
because
Because
of the
they
taste.
don't well, they don't feel like they're getting enough traction in their movement. So therefore, in order to increase their broad appeal, they've got to make concessions.
Well, I wonder if it's because we are an addicted society. Like, it's not good enough to know that eating our fruits and veggies are going to make us healthy. We need to be addicted into fruits and veggies. I don't know.
Well, look, I mean, if all you had were fruits and vegetables, you wouldn't think twice of it because it would be healthy. You'd have your sweets and sugars, but because we have so much chocolate, you know, an apple doesn't taste as sweet as it should or could or does.
Yeah.
Um, but I think, and I see it with a lot of our competitors, you know, they're trying to say, oh, well, you can eat whatever you want. That's not true. You can't. You can
Hmm.
eat as much as you want. That's not true. You can't.
Yeah.
And, you know, and this is going to happen in 26 days. No, it won't. I
Yeah.
mean, it can, but for the average American, for the large percentage, it just doesn't.
Yeah.
So it's broadening their base appeal is what you're saying, basically.
Could be. It could be.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, okay, most people that are vegan go there because of animal cruelty.
You can
Right.
text Lillian McDermott.
See,
What
I
about
went
plant
there.
cruelty?
I went there for my health, and
595.
then you
Once
become
again,
sensitive to
Lillian.
animals.
Mhm.
And welcome back to the Lillian McDermott Radio Show, where we always learn and grow with one another. And today we have Trey Stouffer, the CEO of Transformations Medical Weight Loss Clinic. You know, we have the greatest conversations, Trey, off the air as well. Today you're saying, like, when we were in the break, you were talking about how people want a get rid of weight loss quickly, and that's
Mhm.
why all these other companies have been around for a very short time compared to Transformations Medical Weight Loss Clinic. Share a little bit about what you were saying off the air, because I think it's worth mentioning it again.
Well, look, I feel a lot of groups, they want to broaden their appeal, and they want to make promises that quite frankly shouldn't. You know, 30 pounds in 30 days. Can it happen? Sure it can. Is it realistic? No.
It's not
But
sustainable.
but they get you in the hook. And then once they get you in the hook, then you're like, well, you know, I really need to do da 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 da. Or you can eat all the food that you want. Anybody can step back and say, well, gosh, could that be true? Probably not. You can eat anything and as much as you want. Are you nuts? There's so much out there to state otherwise, and prepackaged and this, that, and the other. There's a lot of ways to get to the same place, right? And on the map, people want to take the quickest Google direction there is, but that's not always the best way to get there.
That's
Sometimes to stop and smell the roses and look at the area, learn what you're eating. And I'm not saying it'll take 10 years to lose 10 pounds, but I'm also not saying don't take a pill and expect miracles.
Absolutely.
And that's essentially the conversation that we were having off.
Well, and I think that if I were to take the documentary Eating You Alive,
mm-hmm.
it makes us aware that we are in choice, that pill doesn't do as much as good nutrition, eating a healthy, whole food, plant-based lifestyle or diet, which I try to stay away from the word diet because it's a lifestyle. And I think that diet is synonymous to temporary, just like the word New Year's resolutions. That's a temporary fix. I want sustainable, long, let's run the race till we take that last breath. That's what I'm interested in. And I remember Dr. Joel Fuhrman came on the show, Trey, and he said, what if there wasn't a pill to heal you? And the only thing that you could do was eat healthy, whole food, plant-based diet, nuts, berries, seeds, onions, so he's like greens, beans, onions, mushrooms, berries, seeds. What if that was your pill? What would you do? And the reality is that in the documentary Eating You Alive, they show how there is no pill that can do what healthy nutrition will do. But here's the thing, Trey, there's a lot of misinformation out there. With the protein, for example, I can only get animal products, an animal protein. That's not real. Every plant that you eat has enough protein in there. But not, so as you eat all of it together, it gives you exactly what your body needs. But if you're eating packaged foods, like you're talking about with these weight loss clinics, you're going to be devoid of nutrients, right?
Sure. And, one of the things that we've voided to communicate on is the genesis of all of our health problems is inflammation.
Correct.
And that's plant-based foods calm that, where animal-based proteins and animal-based, they inflame our bodies. And so those are the logistics of a plant-based diet. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with it. However, I do believe that medicine does have its place.
Sure.
But collectively, we need to have a yin and yang of the whole process of eat healthy, and when Western medicine is needed, take advantage of it, but don't rely on a pill for your life.
That's right. That's right. You can take a pill, you can take responsibility, but the word responsibility isn't about fault, blame, and shame. It's about doing everything it takes to live the life that you want. It's about empowerment. It's about freedom. I want to encourage you to go to whenyounneedafriend.com, by the way, and become a subscriber and subscribe to all my social media and my YouTube video. And Trey, what I love about Transformations Medical Weight Loss Clinic is that they become a family, and your clients are getting their hand held by people that understand what eating healthy is about. Maybe they don't push them to go whole food plant-based, but when you're eating from McDonald's or fast food restaurants and boxes, that perhaps that next step will get the body to want to release some of the inflammation, right?
Sure.
I see you nodding your head. Yeah.
It's all challenged by choice. And as you start to learn and start to appreciate the value of the dietary world, and let's hope your listeners are taking heed in Don't wait until you get cancer. Don't wait until you get some catastrophic disease to make that change, because let me tell you, feeling good is very valued,
Yes.
for sure.
Well, you know that proverb that says that a person with good health has 1,000 dreams, but a person with that's sick only has one. And
Mm.
so that value is something that we have got to um, increase to make it part of our everyday thought process. Not just it's a desire. It's a passion to be healthy. And when we become passionate about being healthy, we will do different things. Now, at Transformations Medical Weight Loss Clinic, you guys also have other ways to help your clients and your patients achieve their goals. To share a little bit about some of your programs that you offer, Trey.
Well, we supply tools, and tools being appetite suppressants, HCG, nutraceuticals being the natural products that have pedigrees and pharmaceutical grade. And, really, education is the backbone. The tools are there for help. If you do not follow the education, then quite frankly, the tools are useless.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where I think a lot of misinformation has been given with a lot of other entities. But look, you could follow any diet. You could follow the cookie diet and still lose weight. But I'm going to tell you right now, that's not the healthiest diet out there.
That's
Duh.
right. That's right.
So, but that's what we do. We do hold your hand. We do educate you, and there's so much more and so much deeper that can be gone. But we do the basics. And if somebody wants to go plant based, that again, that's a little bit deeper education, but it's available.
It's available for all of us. And
Hmm.
and the documentaries like Eating You Alive, Forks Over Knives, Fat, Sick, and Nearly Dead, Food Inc. I mean, there's so much out there that is accessible to us. Why we continue in this denial, thinking, why am I sick? Why are we shocked that we're sick when we continue to eat the way that Dr. Joel Furman says Al-Qaeda couldn't have designed the standard American diet any better than to kill us. And so we have got to take our health back, our life back. And Trey, I'm so grateful that you and your team at Transformations Medical Weight Loss Clinic are committed to meeting your clients where they need to be, where they're at. And so thank you so much, Trey, for being a supporter of the Lillian McDermott Radio Show as well.
You're welcome.
Yes. And for those of you who want to learn more about Transformations Medical Weight Loss Clinic, you can go to transformationsweightloss.com. There's lots of information there. They even have tutorials and they have videos to learn little tips here and there that will get you closer, a step closer to health. And the number you can call to see if there is a Transformations Medical Weight Loss Clinic near you is 877-827-8669. You can also go to whenyouneedafriend.com and click on Trey's name and you'll find that information. Trey, thank you so much for everything that you do, and I look forward to our next conversation.
Absolutely.
And to you, my listening friend, it's time to take your health back. How you do it is so important to heal your entire body. This is Lillian McDermott wishing you love, peace, joy, and unexpected abundance. Make it the best day
Ever.
What
That's easy for you to
happened here?
say.
Where you go? Oh my gosh. I am just like, I just went blank there for a second. I was looking at all the information that was being fed by the station. But Trey, thank you so much for this conversation. You know what I want to do is, I love that show that we did about the buyers beware. And there's a buyers beware mentality that you have such a good command on. If somebody is wanting to release the weight or get healthy, what is the first thing that you want to warn somebody? We'll let that be the last thought of the show. If you want to warn somebody before they sign the dotted line, what are some of the things they should consider?
Don't sign a dotted line. Number one. Number two, if it's too good to be true, it probably is. If it sounds too good to be true, it probably is, because unfortunately in life, there's no shortcuts. And I'm not going to sign a contract for that shortcut.
Mhm.
But if you want to just give me money, I mean, I'm cool with that. Just come, but no, all joking aside, the two biggest things are don't sign a contract and don't fall into the trap of believing something that in your gut's not right.
Well, you know what? We want that get rich quick, lose
Mm-hmm.
weight fast,
Mm-hmm.
rise to the surface, to the top quickly as well, and that mentality has overruled our good common sense.
Mm-hmm. Someone, are we on the air, or is this kind of
Yes,
after show?
we are recording still. Do you want me to stop the
Okay.
recording?
No, you're fine with that. So here's a test.
So you can say whatever you want at this point.
With reason.
Yeah.
So here's a test. Would you rather earn, win, or find $1 million?
Can we say all of them? Can I get 3 million?
Well, you can, but what
Okay,
do you
I
think?
would say I'd like to earn it. I would like to earn
Why?
it because as I earn it, I learn truths on how to maintain it and keep it.
Okay. And there's no right answer in that, by the way, but the logical answer is, and I've had people answer me like, oh, well, I'd rather find it because then I wouldn't have to pay taxes on it. But
Oh, man. Oh, I didn't even
yeah, I
think
know,
of
right?
that.
Yeah, I know. They go
If
deep
I
into
found
thought.
$1 million, I would probably go to the police. And so I'd lose it.
I don't know that I would, but we won't go there, and I won't find $1 million. The logical answer is, if you've ever earned it, then you can do it again. But if you find it, you probably won't find $1 million twice in your lifetime, and you probably won't win $1 million twice in your lifetime. But if you've earned it, you know what it takes to do it. And that's true of so many things. As you know, we do have repeat customers, and here's what I hear from our people that are skeptics.
Mhm.
Well, if you have repeat customers, how successful are you? And my answer is quite simple. If somebody loses their weight through education and they go back to their old eating habits, obviously they're going to gain the weight back.
Yes.
And that's human nature. So then the second time they come back in, they aren't as successful as they remember the first time. Why is that? It's because they remembered it being easier, therefore they aren't as committed to the process, and they're half baking it.
Mm.
So again, it goes back to habit, lifestyle, and being realistic about your expectations. Deep stuff.
Yeah.
And that's the simplistic of life.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad that you guys are helping people, because it could be lonely. It could be lonely when you think that you're the only one that needs to lose 100 pounds. Or the reality is there are more people that are in the same place than someone that needs to lose the weight than someone who doesn't, who just is maintaining. Because you even said that, that the vegan, the food industry is kind of changing the taste of the vegan to kind of attract more people. Let me tell you, when I went to the Veg Fest over in Jacksonville, there were long lines to get the barbecue chicken. And I'm thinking, that's what got us in trouble to begin with. Why do we want to change the taste of real food? And you can do it naturally without adding all the sugars. And I don't crave sugar the way I used to crave sugar. Once in a while, maybe I'll want, if I put something in my mouth and it just tastes like it, I was like, okay, that's it. I go back there. But if you just stay away from it, you don't eat it, it's amazing how you don't miss it within a short period of time.
Now, I'm going to tell you something, and of course, I'm going to not claim it. But if you were to want and drink a Coke, would you rather have a Coke or a Diet Coke? And the answer is not
Neither.
Not either way.
Neither.
Well, neither. But
Yeah.
if you're going to do it, do the original. this substitute and the this and that and the other.
Oh, you're
You've
talking
got,
about the aspartame and all of
yeah,
that's rat poison. That's
yes.
poison. Yeah. Well,
Mhm.
but you see, the example, if you would have given me a different example, maybe it would have been a little bit better. Like maybe, I don't know.
How about a donut with sugar-free sugar versus a donut with that? I mean, either way, it's not ideal. But
Mhm.
if you're going to do it, again, go back to whatever is less processed and plant-based if you can. And life's pretty simple. But the side effect to eating healthy is lose weight. If you have diabetes, improve health, improve energy. And sometimes you scratch your head and say, why don't people do that?
Yeah.
And
Well, Trey, it's very simple, but we have been tricked and trained and dumbed and um, made to think that it can be done with a pill.
mhm,
And so what I loved about the documentary Eating You Alive is that it's very clear that the route of the whole food plant-based lifestyle cannot be beaten by a pill. There's no pill out there that has those numbers and the side effects. I mean, over 100,000 people die a year taking pills the right way for the right reason, and taken the right way, prescribed for the right reason, right dose, everything. 100,000 deaths. That's a side effect that you cannot find in eating whole food plant-based, other than releasing weight, feeling healthier, active, and joy. There's no
mhm.
side effect. There's no side effect warning on the side of a lettuce head. There's none.
Eat organic also.
Yes. Yeah.
There's a
Yeah.
lot of that. So,
Okay, Mr. Trey, thank you so much for everything you do. I appreciate you. I'm looking forward to the day that you do actually watch the documentary, because I'm really curious as to what you think about the whole, how they put the stories together. And so I'm
oh,
still challenging you.
the little snippet that I enjoyed, I mean, it was put together well. But send it to me or get it to me digitally. I'm happy to watch it. It just so
Okay.
happened that Thursday was just a bad time for me.
You got it. You got it. And
Okay.
so thank you so much. And thank you for watching. I look forward to our next conversation.